So today I'm going to do a 19-week pregnancy update. So I cannot believe that I am just a few days away from being 20 weeks and halfway through the pregnancy. So today I am 19 weeks and 4 days. So I'm halfway through the 19 week, but I thought I would go ahead and give an update for my symptoms for this week so far and some of the things that have been happening during my 19 weeks of pregnancy. So symptoms, having pretty bad heartburn. That symptom has been constant throughout my entire pregnancy. It doesn't really matter what I eat, it's just always there. So Tums seem to help for a little bit, but it's not something that provides relief for a really long period of time. So I try to drink a lot of water too. I don't know if that helps at all, but the heartburn is definitely there. Headaches come and go. They are pretty strong headaches when I have them, so that's kind of annoying, but I guess it's just a symptom. So those have been kind of strong this week. And then the only other symptom that I've really been having this week is low energy levels. So this was a really big symptom the entire first trimester of my pregnancy. And it went away when I hit maybe like 14, 15 weeks. But I've noticed that it came back this week and I am just exhausted. It doesn't matter how much sleep I get at night. When I get home from work at the end of the day, I am already ready for bed, even if it's 7 o'clock at night. So those are the three symptoms that I've really been having this week. Nothing else is really going on. Other than that, I feel really great. So on Tuesday, I will have my 20-week anatomy scan, and I will actually be 20 weeks on the day that I go in for the scan. So I'm really looking forward to that and seeing the baby again and measuring the growth and the weight and all of those things in the baby's development. So that's just a few days away. The other thing that happened this week that I wanted to talk about was I did have a little bit of a scare when I was 19 weeks and 1 day, so that was on Wednesday. I typically have been feeling movement from the baby. Every couple of hours I'll feel a kick or a movement or something. And on Tuesday night, the day that it switched over from 18 weeks to 19 weeks, I didn't really feel any movement. So I was like, okay, I'll wait and see what happens in the morning. And then the morning I didn't feel anything either. So I decided to check the heartbeat with the Doppler, and I had a really hard time finding the heartbeat on the Doppler, and I wasn't even sure if I found it. And I've had the Doppler since 9 weeks, and I've been able to find the heartbeat every single time. So I was really concerned, and so I called my doctor, made an appointment for Wednesday afternoon. They said they could get me in, and then later in the day I got a call back and they said they couldn't get me in until the next day, and those times that they could get me in didn't work with my schedule. So they basically told me that if I felt it was a concern that I should go to the emergency room. They said they didn't think it was a concern, that it's still early and that I shouldn't be feeling consistent movement. And I wasn't really concerned with the movement. I was more concerned about not finding the heartbeat. So the doctors kind of just brushed it off and said, no, I think everything's fine. I wouldn't be concerned about it, which was really frustrating because I feel like being a first-time mom, the doctors should be a little bit more compassionate about some of the anxieties that go along with pregnancy. Also because of my history with an ectopic pregnancy, which I'll talk about in another video. And I felt like they really just didn't really care. So that was really frustrating to me. So my husband tried to scramble and make an appointment for me that afternoon at a private clinic to get an ultrasound. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get an appointment because it was so last minute, but thankfully later in the day I did start to feel the baby moving a lot more, so that kind of gave the reassurance. And then I checked again for the heartbeat at that night and I was able to find it. So I did have kind of a little panic attack during the day and was really nervous because I thought I couldn't find the heartbeat and I wasn't feeling her move. So that was really scary, but I think she's in there and she's doing well. So basically after that little scare that I had and the doctor's kind of reaction to it, I decided that I'm going to go for my anatomy scan on Tuesday, which again I'm really looking forward to. And then after that, when I go back to the doctor's, I'm going to kind of tell the doctor about how I felt about that experience and gauge the reaction. And based on that, I'm going to decide if I want to continue with that practice or if I want to start looking for a new one. I do feel like it is kind of late in a pregnancy to start switching and meeting new doctors because at the time that I go back for my next appointment, I will be 22 weeks, so I really don't want to have to switch that late in pregnancy. But I do really think it's important that a doctor listens to the patient when they feel they have a concern. So I mean, the way my practice works is there are 5 doctors and I have to see every single doctor. And each prenatal appointment I have, I see a different doctor. And so far I've seen 3 of the 5 doctors, and out of the 3 I've seen, 2 of them I love and 1 of them I really dislike. And that one that I really dislike was actually the one who was telling the person on the phone to tell me that she wasn't concerned and that everything is fine. And when I had my appointment with her, I just felt like she did not care about anything. She was just kind of like, get me in, get me out. She didn't ask me if I had any questions. I had to be like, excuse me, I have a few questions, which I feel like, you know, again, as someone who's going through pregnancy for their first time, it's important to ask if we have questions or concerns or anything like that, and I really just didn't feel like I got that from that doctor. But the 2 other doctors in my practice that I met so far, I really liked. They were so nice and friendly, and I had a really good connection with them. So I'm just hoping that if I do stay with this practice, that when I do go into labor, that the doctor that I don't like is not on call. But you know, when I go for my next appointment, I'll be meeting with a new doctor that I haven't met yet. So I'll tell her about my experience, about the phone call and what the other doctor said, and just kind of gauge her reaction. Because again, I just think in general, it's important to listen to your patient's concern. And I also just feel like as the person who's calling in, we know our bodies best. And I think it's really important to be an advocate for yourself. And that's really even more important to me, especially after what happened to me earlier this year with the ectopic pregnancy and that leading to an emergency surgery. So I just am really passionate about that. So I was really taken aback by that. So we'll see how it goes. And I guess I'll see at my 22-week appointment if I want to continue with this practice. But so far, I really did like 2 out of the 3 doctors, so that's good. Hopefully, I'll like 4 out of 5, and then there'll be really slim chances that one of the ones I don't like is on call the day I go into labor. So that is about it for updates in 19 weeks. I think overall, the baby is growing. I can definitely tell that my belly is growing, and I'm feeling a lot more movement, which is great. So I am looking forward to finishing out 19 weeks and then starting 20 weeks and having my anatomy scan. So thank you so much for listening and tuning in, and I'll be back next week for a 20-week update.